Assassin's Creed Rogue is one of those games which a lot of people actually don't talk about, and it's due to the fact that it's something different than what a normal Assassin's Creed game would be. We get to see a different perspective on how things are, and not everything is black and white. Of course, for the most part, in all the other Assassin's Creed games, we play as an assassin, so it's normal to have more empathy towards them, and maybe because of that we might neglect other things. I feel like a lot of people actually didn't like this game just because we played it as a Templar. A lot of people think that there is no way an assassin could be wrong in different circumstances, but this game makes everything crystal clear. So guys, before we start this video, I just want to say that make sure to like and sub. These videos take a lot of time to make and I would really appreciate your support. That's it. Now, Assassin's Creed Rogue was the second Assassin's Creed game that I played after Assassin's Creed 3, and when I played it for the first time, I also wasn't particularly interested in the plot of the game, but as I got more into Assassin's Creed games in general, I started realizing that this game ties three Assassin's Creed games together, that are Assassin's Creed 3, Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag and Assassin's Creed Unity. That can clearly tell you the importance of the game. It had characters which had a lot of history. There's Adewale, there's Achilles, Haytham, and also Little Arno in the game, which is just amazing to witness in a single game. The start of the game shows how the Assassins and Templars are in a race to get the precursor artifact. Now, there was a similar event which happened just before the story of Assassin's Creed Rogue, in which the Assassins tried to acquire the artifact from Haiti. It was the same artifact, which they are trying to acquire from the next one. So what happened there was that it caused a lot of destruction. Now, in this earthquake, of course, there's gonna be a lot of people who are gonna get killed, and it happened, guys. But even after the fact that the assassins knew that this was bound to happen again, they sent Shay to do the same in Lisbon to acquire another artifact. Now you can clearly understand how selfish and greedy this thing is, because they already knew the repercussions, but still they are doing it again. Now, of course, the same thing happened again. When Shay touched the artifact, it caused an earthquake and caused a lot of destruction in Lisbon. But somehow Shay manages to get out of there. He has some kind of doubt about this situation. Of course, if something like this happens, it's totally understandable that, people are gonna have some doubts. By the way, while Shay was searching for the manuscript which helped him reach the artifact in Lisbon, we can see George Washington in the game. And I know a lot of people might not have seen him, a lot of people might have missed him because he was in a red coat in that game. And he was with his Templar brother Lawrence Washington, whom Shay killed to get the information. There's also some contradiction which Shay sees with the assassin. The assassins help King Louis. King Louis is basically the king of French people. But in Haiti, the French own the slaves who are set free by the assassins. So, on one hand, the assassins are helping the French by helping King Louis, but on the other hand, they are opposing French to free the slaves. Now, I find this particularly interesting. Maybe the assassins freed those slaves in order to do the dangerous task in Haiti, and ultimately, of course, we all know what happened in Haiti. As I mentioned before, they all got killed. So, what can you make out of this? Why do you think they freed those slaves? Because they wanted to send these slaves on the mission to do what Shay did, in Lisbon. And of course, they got killed. It feels pretty weird that assassins would get this much selfish and not thinking about the lives of innocents. They're just using them in this game basically. Also, the other assassins in this game don't behave in a proper manner with Shay. It feels like whatever he does, the others are gonna have to say something bad about him, which can make someone angry, of course, But even though after all this behavior, Shay still doesn't mind this, which shows that Shay still is a pretty level-headed person. I actually didn't like any other assassins in this game other than Liam. He is the only guy who understands Shay properly, but at the end he also has to part his ways. By the way, why did Achilles specifically send Shay alone to do this task in Lisbon to get hold of the artifact? You can make some sense out of this. And also, when Shay asks if Liam will go, Achilles says he is unavailable, but I highly doubt that he was actually unavailable. Rather, rather, Achilles wanted Shay to do this risky task himself because, as I said, assassins in general didn't seem to like Shay that much. So he might be thinking, even if Shay dies or something, we don't give a shit or something like that. It's that kind of attitude. But ultimately, when Shay discovers what Achilles has been trying to do for getting the precursor artifact at any cost, he realizes that he had to do something about this, or otherwise there's gonna be more earthquakes and mass destructions happening, which can cause even more innocent lives. And that's not far from the truth, because they did it again in the end, but it was fortunate that it was a pretty secluded place. Now Shay finally confronts Achilles and talks about this and asks question, and in my opinion this was completely valid, but Achilles was not trying to answer. He was still delusional about all of this. There's nothing wrong to conclude out of this that Achilles was actually wrong in this part, so were the other assassins. But of course, Achilles is the head and the assassins are gonna believe him no matter what, and they believe him more than Shay, of course. Now what was Shay supposed to even do at that time? Sit down and wait to see another earthquake happening somewhere else, or take action? So he steals the manuscript from the homestead and attempts to flee, but of course running from the assassins is never gonna be easy. Ultimately, the chase ends with a confrontation on the edge of a cliff at the homestead, where he decides to commit suicide rather than having the assassins take back the manuscript, even though he jumps from the cliff and he is shot by Chevalier, by the way, at the same time. Even after all this, he is not dead and gets rescued by a passing ship. From there, his Templar journey starts and the rest is history. The one who actually introduces him to the Templars is George Monroe, and he is a very good guy and not like other colonists. For the first time when I played this game, I thought there is something fishy with this guy. Like, why is he acting so good with Shay, It just does not make any sense, but I mean, till the end this guy was really good. He was an actual genuine person in the whole Templar. George also says that he understands that other colonists are not good, but he tries to do good himself. Throughout the game, Shay kills all his former colleagues in order to stop them from attempting this again. We also meet Haytham in this game, as he is one of the top guys in the Templar. He is the one who converts everyone, He's like a Templar missionary or something. In the end, Shay confronts Liam and Achilles on the precursor site, and finally Liam and Achilles understand what the precursor artifact could do, and there we have it. Such a different perspective on everything, and it shows that just because they are assassins does not mean they are gonna be right every single time. Now accidentally Liam touches the artifact, takes it out of the place, and again the same thing happens as I mentioned before. The whole place starts getting destroyed, but luckily there's no one nearby, so it's just these four guys, Shay, Haytham, Liam and Achilles. Now in the end, of course, Liam dies by falling and somehow Shay survives, and meanwhile Achilles is fighting with Haytham and Haytham almost defeats him, and then Shay comes and says Haytham that he should not kill Achilles because he has nothing left. All the assassins are dead, so what's the point killing him? Haytham gives Achilles a lesson and shoots him in the leg with the shotgun, and from then Achilles stops any operation. And as you all know, Assassin's Creed 3 happened after this. And in Assassin's Creed 3, you might have seen that he had to be convinced a lot by Connor to teach him, because he knew that he did a lot of stuff and he didn't want to do that again. Anyways, the colonial assassins also broke every single tenet of the creed by getting so many innocents killed in those earthquakes, by having literal flags with their insignia waving in the wind in their New York bases, and by breaking the first two, ultimately compromising the Brotherhood. It's more like a perspective thing in my opinion. I believe there might have been more Templar situations in which they were morally more correct than assassins, but we don't get to see their side as much as the assassin's side. So this kinda skews our perspective and how we see everything, And because of that, we are always gonna be more empathetic towards assassins. Assassin's Creed Mirage is also coming soon. In one of the scenes, there is a character who is the leader of Zanj Rebellion. His name is Ali, who says Basim the same thing. Everything you do is for the assassins, and that is a strange kind of freedom. That could not be more wrong. it kind of challenges the perspective of assassins as well, and I really like this because it creates more complexity in the game and it just makes it overall interesting. By chance, in this game or in this specific situations, the Templars felt more right than the assassins. Now, other than the story, I really liked some additions in the naval features. There's rogue waves, you can destroy glaciers to damage nearby ships, and a lot of different stuff. And I actually don't have every feature prepared for this because this video was mainly because the story basically of the game, the plot, how the characters developed throughout the game. Ultimately, my conclusion is that this game is worth a shot, and I'm not gonna say it's better than Assassin's Creed 2 or Black Flag or something like that, but it's good in its own league. We generally don't get this type of Assassin's Creed game, and whenever we can get, we should always give them a shot. But anyways guys, that's it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and sub, and it kind of takes time to make all these videos, so make sure to support the channel. Feel free to leave any comments if you have any thoughts on this matter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.